What's going on, y'all? It's Jason Reviews here, back at it again, doing a single battle review this time for Snake Eyez versus Twork, Midnight Madness battle that just dropped. And for any of y'all curious, like, why is he wearing a beanie indoors? You know what I'm saying? Is it drugs? You know what I'm saying? Is he sick? My hair's fucked up and I got a lot of hair, so I got it under the beanie for today. I might look a little bit crazy with it on, but yeah, man, I got a review right here for Snake Eyez versus Twork. Pretty dope battle. Obviously, a lot of animosity leading up. This was a non-belt bout, so the belt wasn't up for this. Any of those wondering when it comes to the Midnight Madness rules, I know it can get a little weird, but a lot of shit talking went on. It's led to somewhat of a controversial debate online over a couple things that we'll go over. So to start the battle, started out, Snake Eyez opened up. Talking about Twork is the type to pull up to the venue and no-show. As some of you may know, this battle went down at like 4:30 a.m. It's pretty ridiculous. A lot of Snake missing a flight, Twork leaving the venue, coming back to the venue. So a little play on that was a cool opener and sets a theme for Snake being very direct with his material. There's a lot of debate about, not debate, but there's a lot of people giving bonus points to Snake's material because he's doing a lot of addressing in New Jersey Twork, which he continues with here. How does it feel to be the first battler to get 30'd by Smack White publicly? You know, that was dope. Grown-ass man on URL punishment, so definitely taking an angle about Twork's recent shortcomings on URL. And I like the approach. Talk about stumbles on live with Stumbles. We all know the Stumbles belt situation with Snake. Stumbles on live with a brother that chokes, referring to Twork's his brother. Twork, chokes, stumble, is the parallel there. Really wasn't that much of a fan of it. I get what he was going for, but I didn't even see that Twork and Stumbles were cool like that or anything, so bar didn't really hit for me. Led into the jump in about J2. There was definitely a pause, talking about he chokes on dude so good, was the first thing he said. That was a pause. Then chokes with, and it led to a haymaker moment where J2 jumps in, says it makes him jealous, playing off J2 being gay, obviously. Not the biggest fan of that. I will assess it as a haymaker. I don't want to take away a moment. It clearly landed as a moment, so shout out to him. But up to this point, outside of the angle touching up on Twork being on punishment from URL, wasn't too crazy. Talked about he hit Stumbles was stumbling back. That was fire. And he had a Houston scheme at the end. In Houston, too deep. I was just here to rap a lot. They jumped me, but I didn't leave with the scar face. So that was cool. I know there's been a lot of love for Snake Shine. I definitely think it was solid, but nothing just over the top. And Twork goes, he has a rebuttal, talk about download, too slow, leave you hanging. Something about his mom's got bigger. I got bigger fish to fry, and so does she. And then he picks up here, talks about Snake, how he shoulder bumps people, and he says, bring that shoulder over here. You'll have to look over it for the rest of your life. Fire, haymaker. Papa Shell, Taco Bell, they got wings now. That was fucking crazy. So back-to-back haymakers, and he just keeps picking up from there. There's the extra hole in the belt, recycle bar, he did say, versus Geechee Gotti. Especially, it is one recycled bar. I know there's a lot of talk about the recycling. Twork does tend to do this. I'm not a fan of it. He did this in his Arsenal battle, too, with the Bulldog ate his homework. There's a couple battles where he moves around haymakers from smaller leagues or wherever. And I'm definitely not a fan of it. It is one line. I think it's admissible. I do knock a little bit of points off for it. But it is one line, and then he goes right after that. CPR, Chris is going to die in the first 5 minutes, like stomp the yard, fire. Even the police are going to have everyone's going to celebrate. Even the police are going to have a search party. You got to talk about his car crash, and he said it was more than God ever did for me. You was a real eye-opener. One bump, give a hamster drive like a Kia Soul. A lot of drug bars. Died with a white girl in his hand like King Kong. I don't give a fuck about that one bad eye as long as your stove's got 4 good ones. Twork went fucking crazy here in the first. There's a lot of talk about the round length not being fair. And I do agree in terms of the overall optics. He did rap in the first here, I think about 3 minutes longer than Snake. And as he gets to the end of this round, it kind of definitely lingers. I think he has some bars here that aren't bad, but he has a Quail Man. I still can't get the belt around my head like Quail Man. I actually think that was dope. But then he's got a punch buggy bar in there. Talk about shooting Tony, bro. Pop, bro, like your uncle. So there was definitely some cool little punches towards the end. I think the round does go on about a minute and a half too long. But realistically, if you cut him off at 4, probably somewhere around the eye opener bar, maybe the stove, it's 4 eyes, on the stove bar. Nah, like it's not. I don't really see too much of a close round here. I don't see a bunch of dips and valleys. I think it did go on a minute or two too long. And he could have edited out some of the punches at the end, but I still had Twork comfortably winning the first. I do understand people might like Snake Eyez' more directness. And like I said, I think Snake Eyez had a pretty cool first round. Definitely not something I want to, bash on. Even though there's a couple bars I didn't like, I think it was cool. I just think Twork was better. Twork has the higher highs here, the better lines, and his performance was crazy. I think they both rapped and performed well, but it's just tough, especially in that setting when you look at the way it was shot. It really all plays to Twork's strength. So I had Twork 1-0 pretty comfortably going into the second. Top of the second, back on Snake Eyez. He has his opener. Tony Bro ends up jumping in real quick. It was a cool bar. The way it was all right. There was 3 separate jump-ins in this battle. I'm gonna be real, I didn't like not one of them. So I don't really got a lot to say about any of the jump-ins here, whether it got no reaction, some reaction. All of them, I think, were just a little bit strange to me. But then he goes into an NJT flips, talking about NJT turning, flipped the 3 letters a lot, then says, you're like a city girl, I can see you, NJT. That was actually pretty clever. I like that from him. He has a bar here. Instrumental with the 43rd president, but I don't beat around the bush. I'm not gonna lie, that was terrible. That was horrific. And I actually really like Snake Eyez second. So, I don't want to make it look like I'm trying to really down Snake right now. I got a lot of positive things, especially going forward in Snake second. But that bar was an abomination. Instrumental with the 43rd president. When that's your setup, don't rap it. Don't rap it. But after that, thankfully, he bounces back. He has Brace Yourself, Orthodontist. I heard some things like that before, but it was definitely a cool transitional bar. And it talked about, I got more ahead in the morning from a fresh bimbo. She ate, or from Sun Bimbo. She ate eyes in the morning. Shrek intro. That was crazy. That was fucking fire. And that's a lot of people talking about Snake showing improvement in this battle, and bars like that is why. That's creativity. I can't lie. Ramon died. Bring the razor back. That was fine. I like that too. Not as good as the Shrek one, but still solid bar. He's heated up. Young Thug. You can read about your wife getting shot in a bowling alley. That was directed at Anwar. That was a haymaker too. Between that and the Shrek intro, that might have been my 2 favorite bars from Snake this battle. Both of those were fantastic. And he ends it with, it took forever for him to drop after shooting him, the first Jerusalem. That was dope too. I actually like Snake's second more than I like Snake's first. But then to get into Twork's second, he is. I don't want to hear jail stories from the top bunk talking about soap, something about rice soap, and he said, "Don't worry about it. You got doves now. After I kill you, you got doves now." That was cool. Drag it to the trash, like cleaning your computer space. I like that. That was fire. And he starts to pick up again. You got one time to act crazy and die like Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger, rest in peace, Heath Ledger, after that Joker performance. That was fire. Put an end to all this midnight madness like a dream catcher. Haymaker. What do you say? Me even just saying it doesn't really give enough credit to the creativity in Twork's writing. There's just some incredible haymakers here. So he's suspect and blonde on one side, like Dennis Rodman, blonde Dennis Rodman. That was fire. Just because you shop, talking about him battling on King of the Dot, just because you shop with them white boys, you won't be a hot topic. That was dope. Yeah, he's going to look like a mixed breed. He's going to rot in a pit. Oh, my God. That was crazy. It's just shit like that. I have no idea over concepts like dog names that have been talked about so many times, how nobody's thought of that. Thought that was crazy. Talks about how Snake wore the Calvin Klein shirt, the CK, Crip affiliations, what that has to do with. Put 20 in Calvin and 60 in Klein. It's leg day. But I will say towards the end of this round, there is some dry spots from Twork. He had a lot of jail talk here at the end. A couple bars that stuck out were talk about drugs going soft and came out hard. Looked like it went to boot camp. And Mac 90 like a sugar daddy. I like both of those bars. But Overall, towards the end of his second, I will say I think the length of these rounds and him wrapping 2 to 3 minutes longer kind of hurts him a little bit on the rewatch. With that being said, I did give the second clear to Twork. I just think, even though, like I said, Snake Eyez did have a couple bars in there that I loved, the Young Thug bar, the Shrek intro bar, even some good transitional bars. Twork's peaks here put an end to Midnight Madness like a dream catcher, the mixed breed rot in the pit, the one time to act crazy and die, Heath Ledger, shit like that to me just hits hard. There was also a lot of real talk mixed in there, so I think it's actually a pretty diverse round from Twork in terms of some of the content he's given. Maybe not as direct, tailor-made, but there's snake flips in here. There's just overall amazing haymakers. Like I said, I actually like Snake's second more than his first. It's a round that I didn't really give a lot of credit on the first watch, and the more I've watched it, I could definitely say Snake's first 2 rounds in this battle are good, second being the better one to me. But I did have him down clear in the second. I had him losing, and then comfortably in the first, I had him losing. So I already had Twork 2-0 going into the third round. And then back on Snake to start the last round. This was a very short round from Snake. It looks like he might have forgotten his material. He only wrapped about 1:30, so very few highlights I can really pull from here. But he had a pull-up with one arm bar. I forgot what the back end of the reference was, but it was a fire bar. Talk about doing a pull-up with one arm, I believe it was. My bad on missing that second half of the entendre and not having the note down for it right now. But I do want to recognize it was definitely a fire bar he spent that round, as well as the Mac Mel 10 steppers bar that he had, which was also dope. And towards the end, right before he cuts the round, extremely short, for whatever reason he did, he had a now the accident. You weren't grateful for the hoodie talents. Now an accident got you wearing a hoodie for the rest of your life. Didn't get a lot of love, but I actually really, really liked that bar in the direction, he might have been going in after that. But, he had to cut the round very short. And sadly for him, the third is regarded as probably Twork's best round this battle. You try to take this belt, I'm going to send you to... He comes out with the belt that Stumbles had taken. The actual belt that Stumbles and then took from Snake. Which garnered a lot of reaction right there at the moment. People were crazy, to see the actual belt. Like, they robbed him of his belt. Now it's here in front of you. Snake was definitely trying to play some defense, saying, it's dirty, fuck out of here, I don't want the belt, da-da-da-da. But, he comes out, and this third round is based a lot around the belt and the stumble situation. You try to take this belt, I'm going to send you to Orion's. Rum Diddy has said that bar versus John Did Not. I've heard a couple Orion's bars, belt, but I like that one. Thought he performed. It was unique enough that it was still his own concept, and it was very tailor-made to the situation. So I like the Orion's bar. Then he starts doing it was a fake choke. It looked like he was about to choke. And then he said, nah, that wasn't a choke. That was just stumbles. And you see how that shit worked out. And we see how that shit worked out for you. That was crazy. At that point, you could definitely feel the momentum, especially for this third round. Take it. They didn't even take it light, stomping on eye like Pixar. For those of you that know the Pixar intro screen, when the little lamp jumps and squashes down the eye, that is the creativity, man. Just that's all I could say. Creativity. It's just, I have no idea how you could think of something like that. Talk about Ruth. He had a Ruth Chris little scheme in there. Speak to the manager. So that was dope. They were playing soccer with Tony, like Frosted Flakes. That was fucking crazy. You should have at least chased dude in the wheelchair, like Trading Day. There was a dude in a wheelchair, during that whole Snake Eyez situation. That was crazy. I would have talked about beating up Black Compass. I would have yoked Polo up by his collar like the old Kanye. A lot of good shit in here. And then Twork ends his third round with an Anwar jump in. He's not going out like Tony. He's going out like Tony. Talk about Scarface, and Anwar jumps in. Talk about say hello to my little friend. It was funny. Nothing crazy. But yeah, Twork got the third clear. And that leads to me scoring this battle as a 3-0 for Twork. And I know there's been a lot of debate. People saying Snake got the first. I definitely think that the first... I don't know. I actually think his second is the better round. When people say Snake didn't do good, I don't subscribe to that. Like I said, I think Snake's first 2 rounds were solid. This is one of the better Snakes we've seen. But I just don't think it was enough people could talk about round time, but they're selective with that. I know he wrapped a couple more minutes, but even then, I just think his material was better. His peaks were better. It's not tons of dry spots. This was a very good Twork. So, yeah, Twork 3-0 from this side. And that will do it for this review, man. A couple things I want to go over. I saw earlier in the video, I think some people aren't going to like my take on not really liking the J2 jump in. I know it's split, and it's not really that it's anything to do with the gay thing. I think J2 is a great rapper. I just think it's a low-hanging fruit. I think it's a great shock value punch, and that's why I hit a lot of things in battle rapper shock value. And that's why I would still, when I'm assessing this battle, I am scoring it as a haymaker. I don't want to let my personal preference of thinking it's kind of just a low-hanging fruit concept get in the way of how I scored it. So just to clear that up, shout out J2. This is one of the better Snake Eyez. I think there, a lot of positives for Snake Eyez. At the end of the day, even if some people aren't fans of his style, the man sells his fight, and he is improving battle to battle. I personally, in the beginning, we go back a couple years, or even start out back when he battled Rida, also considered one of his better battles. Wasn't a really big fan of Snake through his first push URL and his style, but there's a lot growing here. The writing is growing, the performing is growing, and at the end of the day, he promotes like a top tier dude. And there's a lot of super talented top tiers who really don't even promote. That's part of the job. That is part of the job. So shout out to him for getting the hustle off of that. However the way you make it to the top, you have to work one way or another to get there. So shout out to him for that. But, I did score this as a 3-0. I think this is a great look for Twork stepping in the right direction. He's got a lot of making up to do. Personally, I don't know if I've talked about Twork in this channel. I've kind of already, I've been tired of the choking, this, not being able to predict battles correctly because I have to take it into the fact he might choke all three. It's not fun, but in terms of a redemption arc, this is definitely a battle, take a step in the right direction. So you guys let me know what you think. If you think it's unjust, if the crowd was unjust, if it's gassed, or even some people have Snake winning. I think objectively that's incorrect. I don't think there's a debate for it. But you guys let me know. Like, comment, subscribe, and give me your thoughts. And I'll be seeing you guys in a couple days. Might have a new series coming up, guys. So stay on the lookout. But it's been J Smo Reviews again, and I'm out, y'all. Peace.